Hi, I'm Chris Kepler, and welcome to Does This Happen to You? I'm an actor, voice actor, audiobook narrator, and writer. I love telling and sharing stories about the strange experiences my friends and I have while doing mundane things like grocery shopping. That's why this podcast features funny stories from fantastic writers about our daily anomalies, a micro audiobook about life and befuddlement just for you. Our story this week is from Carol Lennox, who you'll find on medium.com, and here is: What do you say to your offspring's 20 years older lover? A situation I foolishly didn't plan ahead for. Call me short-sighted. Call me a hypocrite. If you're my son, just call me. But please don't put me on the phone with your lover who's 20 years older than you. Yes, I did it to my mother, but I was 49 and he was 72. She was 70 and told him she wasn't sure she was ready for a son-in-law older than her. He didn't become her son-in-law because he died at 76. I promise I didn't kill him with my exponentially higher level of energy. Wait, I was 49, a year older than your lover. Ah, life's little ironies. Dear son, I've spent your lifetime preparing to accept and embrace the young woman I knew would come along and take you away from me. Hyperbolic, yes, but I've been a daughter-in-law to mothers who were best friends with their sons. I know how to win battles while losing the war. Or maybe it's the other way around. My secret weapon was making friends with my mothers-in-law. You know men often marry women like their mothers, after all. Sorry, son, and good luck with that. While I didn't want to see it while wresting their sons out of their clinging, clutching hands, my mothers-in-law and I had much in common. My mothers-in-law were intelligent, educated, nurturing, successful. One was a stockbroker, and they had big personalities, like me. The main thing we had in common was loving their sons. Not that my loving my second husband and her son was appreciated at first. He was a Jewish prince, and I was the Goya interloper. Still, I made her like me. I assumed you would have significant others who had some similarities to me. I hoped they would be my better traits. Although childhood trauma being what it is, I knew to prepare for all eventualities. Except that one of them would be 20 years older than you, and therefore only 20 years younger than me. I should have had you when I was younger. Believe me, though, you would not have wanted that. I finally grew up after I had you when I was 41. Before that, we would have been children together, and not in a good way. I'm a slow developer. Your friend is only 8 years older than I was when you were born. In other words, when you were 8, she was 28, the age you are now. This is making my head hurt. She's probably still fertile. I was when I was her age. I can still hope for a grandchild. Although, if it goes like it did with you and me, people will think she's the grandmother. I was often asked if I was your grandmother. Would that mean they would now think I'm your great-grandmother? This headache is becoming a migraine. I can't control society and people's reactions for you, although I would if I could to protect you. Also, society itself would be better off if I could. Yes, I'm a complete hypocrite in this situation. I've dated 2 men, not at the same time, both 17 years younger than me, whose mothers had them at 16. That made their mothers younger than me at the time we were dating. Awkward. I was in my 40s and 50s at the time, so we were all fully grown. Are you fully grown at age 28? She must think so. I'm working on it. Maybe a couple more years? Before you were born, I also briefly dated a 26-year-old when I was 39. He told me he would marry me if we could. We couldn't at the time. 20 years later, when we reconnected, he conveniently forgot that sentiment. I guess he saw a big difference in me from 39 to 59. Just saying. People who read my writing know I don't consider age an issue when it comes to love, sex, and dating. Until I've had to consider it for my one and only child, that is. Yes, I'm clearly a hypocrite when it comes to you. It's a conundrum. Which rhymes with bosom. The bosom I clutched you to while breastfeeding, which was when I first started worrying about the person, I didn't know you were hetero at that early age, who would snatch you from my bosom some day. Such are the crazed postpartum thoughts of mothers. And yes, I know, it's been 28 years of postpartum crazy for me. So sue me. No, don't. I still worry about having you circumcised. Sue your dad for that one. As I recently told you, however, this isn't any of my business. My parents met or knew very few of the men I dated or had sex with. They primarily only met the ones I later married. I didn't want to give them heart attacks. They were too young for that. Having had me in their early 20s, I, on the other hand, am not too young for heart attacks, having had you when I was 41. No guilt tripping here, just information. I do think it's important to share with you that we older women do fall in love with younger men. Don't believe us when we tell you it's only a fling, or friends with benefits, or that we don't want a relationship. We are lying to ourselves and thus to you. Not on purpose and not even consciously, but still, lies. Stay alert. With all my love, Mom, your best friend. So what did she and I talk about when you put us on the phone with each other? How she toilet trained her cats, which, as you pointed out, causes her to gag and run from the bathroom every time she goes in to flush it. No thanks. I'm content with my pretty litter and my fancy litter box that cleans itself, much like cats do. So that's one thing she and I don't have in common. Besides, potty training you was enough. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the story, let me know and share it with your friends. Follow me at Chris KK Aria on Twitter or Chris K. Kepler on Facebook. Or check out my website, www.chriskepler.com.